Hello, this is the first edition of the official TV journal of the International Federation of Amateur Sambo. Our permanent base is our internet site www.sambofias.org. In this program, we will be telling and showing you all the most important and interesting events happening on the Sambo planet. So, right from the start, I'm addressing the heads of national and continental Sambo federations. We are hoping for any kind of information from you. Photos, video, print, in short, everything that is in any way connected to our species of martial arts, Sambo. Today in our program. Sofia, the Junior World Championship, breaks the traditions and writes the new country names in the medal geography of Sambo. Minsk, the Combat Women's and Sports Sambo World Championship among adults. Results of the latest Congress of FIAS, and the international Sambo family gets bigger. Kazan, the Student World Cup, not just an important start, but also a dress rehearsal for the 2013 Universiade. The hero of today's Sambo Star rubric is Vladimir Yaprintsev. We find out why the three-time Sambo World Championship did not become a motocross racer and what did the president of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, do while the wrestlers went for the legs. Our rubric News Flash will tell you about Sambo realities upon the African and Pan-American continents. And then you will vote for the most brilliant match of the Sambo World Championship of 2012. A month before the Adult World Championship, another tournament was held in the capital of Bulgaria, this time for juniors and youngsters in the age group from 17 to 20 years old. Competitions like these cause a heightened interest among Sambo experts, because, first of all, these are the future stars of our kind of martial arts. Sofia greeted the participants of the championship with good weather, a great modern sports palace, the Army's arena, and the traditional Bulgarian hospitality. It should be noted that prior to the Sambo event, the arena had hosted just a few major tournaments, the Grand Prix of rhythmic gymnastics and one match of the Volleyball EuroLeague. Our Sambo Forum was the most representative as to the number of participants that the walls of the new building in Sofia have seen. That's why the opening ceremony was attended by the senior management not only of FIAS, which is quite natural, but also the head of the Bulgarian sports, Mr. Neikov. This was a recognition of the Bulgarian Sambo Federation's achievements as well as a sign of special regard of the country's leadership for our sport. This forum means a lot for us in Bulgaria. I am also glad that every year we do host competitions of this rank. I am happy with the cooperation of the International Federation and the Sambo Federation of Bulgaria and expect great results from this cooperation, both for the junior and adult teams. There is such a concept, the role of individual in history, and here we do have such an individual, Romain Stoilov, the head of the Sambo Federation of Bulgaria. He is the world champion himself, who has often taken part in these major competitions. He also has the International Federation, and of course he has made a lot of effort to make this competition happen. The World Youth Championship, the European Youth Championship, cadets. These are the most crucial and important events, because this is our reserve. We can see how the young develop. Everyone understands that there is no high sportsmanship without youth. We will have Sambo lessons in every public school in Bulgaria. And I think in 5-6 years' time, we will see the results, and this is a great move on our part. In the end, championships organizers Bulgaria, with the support of their fans, took 4 gold medals and won the second place as a team, yielding only to Russia. Let us mark the victory of the Greek athlete Elizabeth Teltsidou in the up to 65 kilograms category and a real breakthrough for the Italian women's team, which got 3 medals in Sofia. The first day the Italians won 2 gold medals. This was done by Anna Righetti in the up to 56 kilograms category and Giulia Argazzini in the 68 kilograms category. And on the final day of the tournament, teammate Miranda Giambelli was second in the category up to 80 kilograms. A month later, she will be second again, but this time at the adult championship in Minsk. This is a great incentive for us. We are very much pleased with our results, that we have won the European Championship and now the World Cup. It is a stimulus for us to prepare for the next starts. The 3 of us came well prepared. We practiced judo as well as samba, and it helps to maintain good shape. The challenge now is to prepare for the World Cup in Minsk and the Universiade next year, and we are training. Well, the most striking event of the tournament was the final junior match in the weight category 100 kilograms plus between Ushange Kukauri from Georgia and 2-meter athlete from Romania, Daniel Natia, weighing close to 200 kilograms. That is 50 to 60 kilograms more than his opponent. However, the Georgian sportsman demonstrated great skill. He managed to throw the mighty Romanian and to get a retention. It seemed the advantage of the 8 points practically guaranteed him gold. But near the middle of the fight, Natia gets a leg shell throw and retention too, and then at the end of the match another 4-point haul and wins with the handball score 13-8. Overall, young samba wrestlers from 32 countries pitted their strength against each other at the Sofia Championship, a record number for this age category. The participants fought for 38 sets of medals. In addition to the event itself, significant agreements were achieved with the leadership of the Bulgarian sport, which will ultimately affect the development of samba wrestling in the world. I held talks with the leadership of the International Federation, and I was told that in the future we will work all together, the coaches and the athletes. We will establish training camps with your athletes as well as ours, and will perform well at the World Cup. It should be noted that the International Wrestling Federation, FILA, has already created such European center in Bulgaria, so Sofia does have a positive experience in this respect. Well, the first week of November became the central event for the whole of samba wrestling community. The 36th World Championship got underway in the capital of Belarus, and the annual Congress of FIAS was held at the same time. This year, the athletes representing 60 national federations from 4 continents gathered in Minsk. In addition to the traditionally strong samba powers of the former USSR, some states where samba wrestling is just taking its first steps also joined in the fight for the medals: Lebanon, Iran, Pakistan and others. The Finnish team looked good, for example. Of course, all those federations still lack experience, but given the recent developments in samba wrestling, it's not for long. And the example of the Italian women's team, which was a real discovery of the year and a breakthrough not just in the European but in the world samba wrestling, it's quite clear that the newcomers show great promise. Already the first shoots do appear here in Bulgaria, for example, among young sportsmen. The 2 Italian girls who won the World Cup, these are the first tender shoots. I mean, if they have become champions among youth, in a couple of years they will certainly compete with the adults. Similarly, you can see it here too. Here's the girl from Venezuela who's got a medal. The Finnish representatives fought well today. The athletes from Trinidad and Tobago, not bad at all. Argentina. That is, there are some good guys who just need to be supported, to be taken to the major tournaments more often. We should hold the domestic competitions more often. And I think the results won't take long. There are some 60 countries here this time and over 400 participants. And in Vilnius, there were 350 participants from 53 countries. We are always moving ahead. I hope that when we have the anniversary Sambo Wrestling Championship in St. Petersburg, we will get the number of countries present up to 70. The World Championship 2013 will be held in St. Petersburg at about the same time as the World Games of Martial Arts. Sambo wrestling is for the second time included in the main program of this great forum, which brings together representatives of all martial arts. For this very reason, each such event, and especially the World Cup, is a test not only for the athletes, coaches and referees, but also for the organizing committee, the executive management on FIAS, whose mission it is to present Sambo wrestling at a modern international level. We have developed specific regulations for Sambo tournaments, consistent with the peculiarities of this sport. We constantly do our best to bring the organization of each event to the level of an imaginary ideal model, and Belarus is no exception. All in all, judging by the reaction of the people who came here who don't know much about Sambo, they do like the whole, but there are some flaws.
Есть и некоторые недочеты.
Second year in a row, in line with the WADA rules, the athletes provided the samples for doping control. But in contrast to the World Championship in Vilnius, this time all the winners without exception, and that means 27 athletes, were subject to doping tests. As for doping control, it was done perfectly. The specialists came as well as volunteers in their doping control T-shirts. So in this respect I'm quite happy. All the champions pass doping tests. Live broadcasts of all the events held under the auspices of the International Sambo Federation have become a tradition now. This time the Sambo wrestling fans could follow the fights on the updated website at www.sambofias.org. The national company BTRC became the official host broadcaster of the tournament. With the help of Eurovision, it has provided the signal of Minsk Championship to live to all interested broadcasting companies around the world. All in all, the Belarusians have taken the preparation for this event quite seriously. You can see the kind of arena we got. The Minister of Sports and Tourism was at the opening ceremony himself. Our President Alexander Lukashenko was a Sambo wrestler himself, so we do feel the support, and God forbid it becomes less. And with our results, we strive to justify the trust of our country. At home, the Belarusian Sambo wrestlers took 3 gold medals in all disciplines. First, Olga Levchenko in bantamweight up to 48 kilograms. Next day, the combat Sambo wrestler Stanislav Kolbasov supported the initiative in light heavyweight. And in the final stage of the championship, Yuri Rybak topped it off, becoming a 5-time world champion in the category of 100 kilograms plus. The Belarusian achievements in Sambo wrestling were also credited in the person of the famous Tatiana Moskvina, 10 times world champion. This beautiful blonde has been awarded a special FIAS prize. It's a great joy for me to be able to embrace this frail woman who is a 10 times world champion in Sambo wrestling. On the eve of the first competition day, an official press conference took place. It was held in the Minsk City Hall, where the hosts of this global Sambo wrestling forum were represented by Minsk Mayor Nikolai Ladutko. It should be noted that for the residents of the city, the Minsk City Hall has an image of independence, wealth and power. It follows that the place for a briefing ahead of the most important event in the Sambo wrestling world was well chosen. After all, these are the things this sport strives to achieve now, storming the coveted Olympic heights. Incidentally, in addition to purely sporting matters, the media present were interested in the outcome of the FIAS Congress, which had ended 2 days before the tournament, in the context of the Olympic prospects of sambo wrestling. The fact is, FIAS is striving for the recognition of sambo by the International Olympic Committee. Towards this end, the Federation has drawn up a document provisionally called the Sambo Bid Book, and at the next session of IOC in 2013, this bid will be considered. Journalists question the experts as to how this step will affect the status of sambo wrestling in the world. If we do get recognition, even be it professional, our sport will receive a very different treatment from our sports ministry and the National Olympic Committee, and that means public funding. So we all look forward to this provisional recognition. Recognition is the most important step. I think sambo wrestling will become Olympic. It will be very good for us, because this is our dream. The Greek Sambo Wrestling Federation has been in existence since 2001, and from that moment I was pressing for the Olympic recognition. That way, funding will be through the Olympic Committee. I can say for Bulgaria, if we get recognition, I will be first of all very happy, and secondly, Sambo wrestling will rise to another level in Bulgaria. In addition to filing the bid book in the IOC, we have also managed to gain recognition in Asia. We will now take part in all the multi-sport Asian competitions. They have also recognized us in Europe. So we hope that sambo wrestling will participate in the next European Games. Next year, we are invited, our federation, FIAS and our sport, to the World Student Games in Kazan. I am at a loss for words to describe it. Those who understand this sport, they know what it means. The Universiade, held every 2 years, is considered more important than the World Championship. Do you get it? There are such people, such athletes there. It's awesome. Different Olympic sports, and sambo wrestling among them. This is also a great success of President Shestakov. The Vice President of FIAS, President of the European Sambo Wrestling Federation, Sergei Eliseyev, told the participants of the Congress about the calendar of FIAS competitions for 2013-2016. One of the innovations is that starting from 2013, all tournaments of the category A will get the high rank of World Cups, and they will be held on 4 continents. Moreover, according to the results of all 4 cups, the winners will receive financial remuneration, as announced by the Congress by Andrei Klyamko, the first vice president of FIAS. He also reported the creation of the Fiscal Commission, which will review all the requests of financial assistance from continental federations. And finally, the delegates voted unanimously for membership of Turkey's Sambo Wrestling Federation in FIAS. Sambo wrestling in Turkey has been developing for 5 years. Among the 400 Turkish wrestlers, 50 are working as instructors. Huge potential in Turkey, since the population of our country is 80 million. We will work very closely with Sport Ministry. Like everyone else, we want sambo wrestling to become an Olympic sport. You know that Istanbul is one of the candidates to host the Olympics in 2020, and we have a double task to make Istanbul the Olympic capital and to make sambo an Olympic sport. In the end, the awards of the 36th World Cup went to sambo wrestlers from 20 different countries in Europe, Asia and Latin America. And another major international event held under the auspices of FIAS in the end of the year, which we simply had to tell you about. The Students' World Cup in Kazan, the capital of the future Universiade. Let me recall that it's the first time sambo wrestling was included in the official program of this major international multi-sport event. The FIAS correspondent in Kazan, Ayrat Karimov. Athletes from 40 countries competed for the Planet Cup in Sambo wrestling in Kazan. The tournament became a test event before the 2013 Universiade, and for the first time Sambo wrestling was in the program. The championship was held at the Palace of Martial Arts, built specifically for the World Student Games. Volunteers are everywhere. It's impossible to get lost or be overlooked. Even if we ignore the fact that the tournament is held for the first time, the organization is at the highest level. We took part in the World Cup in Minsk. It was a very high-level event. I mean, both competition and the organization. In Kazan, we see the same thing. We've come to this competition because the World Federation paid for us, and our team is here thanks to the World Federation. Right now, the situation in Estonia is not very good. Our country is not a rich one, and this help is quite considerable. Our guys are all students, they don't have proper jobs, and this helps a lot. Many of the participating countries where Sambo wrestling is just beginning to take hold came to Kazan with the help of International Federation. Their delegations are not quite as numerous. For example, the national team of Pakistan consists of just 2 athletes. Without FIAS support, the development of Sambo wrestling in Pakistan would be virtually impossible. Participating in the World Cup in Kazan is important for us strategically. Thanks to such trips, it will be easier to promote Sambo in Pakistan. We hope to return in the summer to the Universiade. Similar thoughts are voiced by members of the Iranian national team. Sambo wrestling is growing fast in the Islamic Republic. Even the Asian judo champion is practicing Sambo now. We got help with the outfits and the tickets to Kazan. Thanks to the International Federation, we have foreign coaches and referees working in Iran, and people actively choose Sambo. We must note the successful debut of the Chinese team in Kazan. It was their first Sambo competition. The Chinese athletes took home 2 medals. Bronze in the category of up to 60 kilograms was won by Xin Huan Wu, and in the light heavyweight up to 80 kilograms, Xin Lin lost in the finals to the experienced Bulgarian Jurova and got silver eventually. Given the serious ambitions of Chinese athletes at the upcoming Universiade, we can expect surprises from them in Sambo wrestling too. Now it's time for our rubric Sambo Heroes. We open the first page of our Sambo wrestling Wikipedia. Today we would like to present to you Vladimir Yaprintsev. To a lot of people, Vladimir is an example of true Sambo wrestler, and this year he was also one of the main organizers of the World Cup held in Minsk. First, a little background. Vladimir Yaprintsev, born in 1961 in Ashgabat, Turkmenistan. Marital status: married, with 3 children, 2 daughters and a son. Education: a graduate of the Belarusian State University of Physical Culture, PhD.
Оля, доброе утро.
Vladimir is the honored master of sports in Sambo wrestling, the honored coach of Belarus, 4 times world champion in Sambo wrestling, 3 times European champion, World Cup winner. But don't think his way to the top in Sambo wrestling was easy. I lost my first World Cup, though few would remember it now. This championship was held in Milan. As I recall, our management was even glad we lost. I had a very hard fight with 3 times world champion Jasram from Mongolia, a very strong wrestler. At the end, I thought there was a fault on his part, but that's what the losers always say. I took 2nd place, silver medal. Of course, it was a painful blow for me, a big shock. I couldn't sleep for 5 days, I didn't want to go home. Then Magomed Ramazanov said, "Come back home, don't be a fool." It seemed to me that I had disgraced my family, my country, and of course all my training was transfixed by this loss. Swimming in the pool, I thought Jasram was right behind me. Running cross-country, I always saw Jasram next to myself. I had to beat him. In training fights, I thought I should make 10 more throws because Jasram is here. My motivation was just crazy. The first World Championship title was such drive, unbelievable drive, and satisfaction. For the job well done. This title was expected from me, and I have done my job. Of course, after the second and third victory, I was more relaxed. I was certain I was well prepared psychologically. I always had a champion's character. I knew I had done my homework, and I am ready to become a champion. It was natural. Worse if I hadn't become a champion, that would be stressful, and a win for me was perfectly normal. A year before finishing school, life of the young sambo wrestlers would make an abrupt turn. Once, together with a friend, he came to a motocross training session, and those motorcycles and speed just went to his head. I signed up for motocross. I caught the motocross bug. I twice came to the training sessions, and I remember I was very fascinated. But then I realized my life had to be devoted to sambo wrestling. It was my way. By an effort of will, I pulled myself off from the motocross. I just, up and away, though I was a big fan already, and who wouldn't be at this age, the motors, the speed. Vladimir trained as a sambo wrestler since age 12 and is still doing it now. Moreover, at 52, he has managed to become a world champion among masters 3 times. I am pleased that a lot of my friends have followed my example and started wrestling again. And cut their drinking. You must train after all. Because it takes a special kind of courage just to come on to the mat at our age and to actually fight. You should have seen these fights. What an excitement. It's like the last fight for them. You've seen it too. It's like attacking a tank with a grenade. Such passions. You don't see it often, even in youngsters. With him, an active lifestyle is not just empty words, but a reality. Today, Yaprintsev heads the Belarusian Sambo Wrestling and is also the vice president of the European Sambo Wrestling Association and co-owner of Triple, one of the most famous brands in Belarusian business. But despite his busy schedule, Vladimir trains every day, sometimes not on the mat, but on the football field, especially since his business partner, Yuri Chish, is himself an avid sportsman, and the Dynamo Minsk football club is also in the sphere of the tribal company's interests. I was very lucky with a partner, amazing. The whole wrestling turns out to be in the sphere of interest of our company. All our employees are like wrestlers. Believe me, they all know what a freestyle wrestling is, or Greco-Roman wrestling, Sambo wrestling and judo. I was definitely lucky that today such a situation exists. He is the head of the Wrestling Federation, and I myself took charge of Sambo wrestling and judo. Indeed, now Yaprintsev has the Judo Federation as well, and in view of the results of Belarusian Masters of the Mat at the London Olympics, the president of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, has burdened Yaprintsev with the Olympic cares. Recently, we had an Olympic meeting to discuss the performance of Belarusian athletes at the Olympic Games. And I asked the head of state one question, and I liked his answer. He said, "We will never destroy what we ourselves have achieved, especially in the case of Sambo wrestling. I once was a Sambo wrestler myself, and I haven't forgotten. So how can I let my favorite sport be hurt?" Yes, Lukashenko was a Sambo wrestler. This is the first sport he was engaged in. It's my favorite joke. While the freestylers went for the legs, Sambo wrestlers went and made a career. It's just a joke we have. Combining two related styles of wrestling under one management was a strategic decision and will benefit both Sambo and Judo. And victories of the Belarusian wrestlers speak for themselves. This is one of the strongest and most united teams in the world. I can't live without a fight. I just can't. I even start to feel out of sorts. It's like cold turkey, uncertainty. I just have to come to the guys. I love my team. I love them as brothers and sisters. They are my family. That's why we have such results, because we do have such a strong connection, such a strong relationship, family-like. The 36th World Championship held in Minsk was not only another step in the development of FIAS, but also a tribute to the merits of several generations of Belarusian Sambo wrestlers. As to the World Championship in Belarus, I think we definitely deserve it. We previously hosted the European Youth Championship, then the European Championship among men and women, and now the World Championship among women and men in combat sambo wrestling. We have earned this right because, and it's no secret, we hold the leading positions in this sport. We're certainly in the top 3, and sometimes we become first. So I wanted the guys to be seen. The country should know its heroes. They must not lose. Let the people see. I hope they win, and the whole country would applaud them, because our federation is one of the best in the Republic of Belarus, that's for sure. Not only judging by results, but by the relation within the team. We respect each other. There is a lot of tenderness between us, and that is highly important. So it's thanks to the efforts of all our Sambo team, I think, of all our Sambo wrestling community, that the World Championship will be held in Minsk, Belarus. Next, Sambo Wrestling Flash News. We obviously can't cover everything happening in the Sambo wrestling community, but these are the most important and interesting moments. Cali in Colombia hosted the Continental Sambo Wrestling Championship as well as the latest Congress. 4 new members were admitted to the Pan American Sambo Federation, all of which have just recently created their own national Sambo wrestling federations. It was El Salvador, Honduras, Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago. The calendar of events for the next 3 years was also discussed, and some key decisions concerning upgrading the skills of coaches, athletes and referees of the new members, so as to enable them to seriously compete with the leading sports powers in the near future. Thanks to the joint efforts and FIAS support, I feel quite safe in declaring this championship a complete success. And despite the fact that the number of participants was higher than previously stated, we did not refuse anyone and gave them a good welcome. Nearly 100 participants from 12 countries determined the strongest among them. In overall team classification, Venezuela was the best. Sambo wrestling is supported at the state level in this country, so the 14 gold medals are quite natural. The hosting team Colombia was the second. They took 4 gold and 10 silver medals. It was the first time 2 sportsmen from Argentina took home the gold medals. The Uruguay team got its first gold. The wrestlers from Trinidad and Tobago won 1 gold, 1 silver and 3 bronze medals. And Ecuador team delighted the home fans with 2 silver and 2 bronze awards. This championship is a real breakthrough in the development of continental Sambo wrestling, and it shows that we, together with FIAS, are moving in the right direction. We are clearly making progress. In Morocco, the African Championship among masters took place. The athletes competed in 7 age categories, from the youngest, 35 years plus, to the most respected, 65 or older. A total of 47 sets of medals were awarded in 3 days in Casablanca. In addition to sporting results, the FIAS inspection team analyzed the ability of the African Federation to hold major international competitions, because, as we already know, the 2015 World Championship will take place in Morocco. This is a quite normal practice. We hold a lot of events and international ones too. For example, the Mediterranean Games, the World Judo Adult and Junior competitions. We also organize the African Judo and Sambo Championships. But we do look forward to any help from FIAS and other interested individuals and organizations. And let me assure you that in 2015 Championship will be a real celebration of Sambo wrestling. Nevertheless, the executive management of FIAS has expressed the need for very serious organizational efforts to make this tournament on African continent match the current requirements of IOC for such tournaments. The book called Samba, The Science of Victory, was presented this fall at the Moscow Book House. This colorful, richly illustrated edition was co-written by Vasily Shestakov, Fyodor Emelianenko and Svetlana Yeregina. Those present at the event could talk to the authors for more than an hour, asking a lot of questions about the educational value of Samba wrestling for teenagers, at what age it is best to start Samba training, and how dangerous and traumatic is Samba wrestling. This last question brought forth wide smiles from the experts, and the FIAS president said that, preparing his thesis, he had studied the statistics on injuries in sports. And it turned out that Samba wrestling is at or near number 20. The top is occupied by the team sports, football, hockey. This presentation was one of the most crowded and productive in the history of the book house, and there was no end to those wishing to obtain a personal autograph of the most famous Samba wrestler of our time, Fyodor Emelianenko, especially since it was at this very presentation that Emelianenko confirmed to his fans that he finished his sporting career and won't be competing at the next World Cup. To the representative of foreign media, Shestakov announced that in 6 months' time this book will be released in English and will be easily obtained over internet. The Samba Palace is to be built in St. Petersburg. The need for this project was discussed at a meeting of the Board of Trustees of the St. Petersburg branch of the Russian Samba Wrestling Federation. Local governor Georgy Boltavchenko endorsed this idea and instructed the Committee on Physical Education to draft a project of the new sports complex for combat sports. He also noted that in addition to achieving the Olympic status, which Samba wrestling has deserved for a long time, it's necessary to think of its mass appeal. Samba wrestling is a kind of sport which has every right to be called Olympic. We are planning to hold the World Martial Arts Games here next year. And I think Samba can prove itself at this event. The governor then proposed introducing Samba lessons at schools. In addition, it will be possible to organize Samba sports clubs for young people over 17 on the premises belonging to the city. And qualified coaches should be recruited among the sports colleges students. It will mean some additional money for them and a valuable coaching experience. The more so, as the last World Samba Wrestling Cup among students has shown, these guys are quite able to achieve good results. The monument to Vasily Oshchepkov, the creator of Samba, was erected in Vladivostok in the sports complex Olympiads. A solemn ceremony to commemorate the 120th anniversary of judo in Russia was held September the 9th, 2012, during the APEC summit. This event, dedicated to the legendary athlete and the 120th anniversary of his birth, was visited by dignitaries and participants of the APEC summit from Russia and Japan, as well as the FIAS president Vasily Shestakov and the Olympic and 5-time world champion, the holder of the 8th Dan, Yasuhiro Yamashita, the Director General of Mitsui & Company Moscow Miguru Hiroshi, the Consul General of Japan in Vladivostok, Nobuaki Ito, the Vice Governors of Primorsky Krai, Ivan Mostovich and Alexander Los, and the Chairman of the Legislative Assembly of Primorye, Viktor Gorchakov. Cooperation between these two sports, judo and Samba wrestling, will certainly boost the development of both. Generally speaking, more attention was paid to judo. I am more familiar with judo than Samba wrestling, which until now I knew almost nothing about. Ahead of the upcoming Universiade, we are going to pay special attention to Samba wrestling. The effort should be made to make it an Olympic sport. The ceremony was organized with the support of the Primorye administration. It was sponsored by the Mitsui & Co. company. A lot of judo and samba wrestlers, young and old, attended the grand event to pay tribute to a great athlete and also to showcase their skills. The Olympic champion Yasuhiro Yamashita demonstrated his techniques, which had enabled him to win 528 matches. The delegates from Russia and Japan, present at the unveiling of the Vasily Oshchepkov Memorial, expressed hope that the relations between the two countries will only get stronger. And now a very special part of the program, the vote. We suggest that you, the true lovers and fans of Samba wrestling, determine the three most exciting final fights of the World Championship in Minsk. You can and should cast your vote on the official website of the International Federation, www.samba.fias.org. You will have to choose from 3 women's finals, 3 men's finals and 3 combat Samba finals. So let's start with the men's finals. We offer you following weight categories: 68 kilograms, Davidov, Russia, Bazilev, Belarus; 90 kilograms, Baindurov, Georgia, Kurginyan, Russia; and the heavyweights, over 100 kilograms, Iliadis, Greece against Rybak, Belarus. Now for women's Samba. The choice is between the finals in the following categories: up to 52 kilograms, Baba Muratova, Turkmenistan, and Mirzoyan, Russia; up to 68 kilograms, Kormiltseva, Russia, and Mamazova, Belarus; and up to 80 kilograms, Jambeli, Italy, and Prishepa, Ukraine. And finally, combat Samba wrestling, also 3 finals. In the 74 kilograms category, Muravitsky, Belarus, Panov, Russia; up to 100 kilograms, Kolbasov, Belarus, Ivanov, Bulgaria; and in the 100 plus kilograms, Aushev, Kazakhstan, Sidelnikov, Russia. Please note, in order to vote, you must go to the home page of the official website www.samba.fias.org, and there you will see, on the right side, the voting window. The choice of the best Samba wrestlers in the World Championship of 2012 is up to you. This was the first edition of the official FIAS TV journal. Remember, Samba wrestling tempers your character. We wish luck to all our colleagues in 2013.